Woo ha 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 ha! Hey everyone, welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with the first reaction of our 2025 Halloween month. We are here with the special this time, and our theme is A24 films. Now, yesterday you saw the reaction to to the uh the Forever Purge. That's what it was called. Sorry. You saw the reaction to Forever Purge. Like I said, that's kind of like a pre-Halloween special. Normally every year I've been doing Purge movies as part of the Halloween special, but it didn't really fit in with this year's theme. So I decided to do that just yesterday as like a pre-Halloween special to kick things off. This is the actual beginning of the Halloween special this year. So yeah, we're here. We're doing A24 films, specifically A24 horror films. And we're starting off with Opus. So this is a movie that came out just this year. It's one of the newer A24 films. I know nothing about it. I don't know who's in it. I heard it was well received, but it's one of those cases where I heard of its existence and that's it. But when I looked up like A24 horror films specifically, I did notice this one was listed in the various lists I saw. So I decided, it would be a good one to get to. And just to go over real quick, let me get this up. The entire list of this year's Halloween special reactions. So, just as a reminder, next week we will be reacting to Saint Maud. The week after is The Green Knight. And then we have The Hole in the Ground. And on Halloween night specifically, The Monster. Now, I have been told about The Green Knight not necessarily being like strictly horror, but I've heard that it's again, I've seen it listed on the lists of A24 horror films, and people have apparently said it's like at least horror like themed or like has a lot of horror aspects to it. That's good enough for me. That's good enough for me. If a lot of people kind of consider it horror, even if it's not officially designated as such, I'm gonna include it. But we'll get to that when we get to that down the road. So yeah, I don't know much about Opus here. I don't really know anything to expect. I don't know who's in this. The title Opus makes me think of magnum opus, which, unless I'm mistaken somehow, usually refers to a creator's like greatest work. Their like peak work, whether that be like a director's best movie or an actor's best performance, a singer's best album, so on and so forth. The magnum opus would be considered like the very peak of their career. And from what I've seen, a lot of times, a lot of actors and directors and so on and so forth don't like have this like constantly changing. Like you're not going to see like, oh, this director releases a movie, it's their magnum opus. Director releases a new movie, oh, this movie's even better, it's their new magnum opus. No. Usually when a movie or song or album or whatever is released, usually people don't refer to it as magnum opus unless it's something really, really special. Like it's something that just goes out of its way and just like takes the world by storm, takes like society in terms of how this work is talked about by storm. It just like becomes that big of a deal. Um, and I've heard like various works referred to as such. So I'm thinking that this movie probably is going to have something to do with that, something to do with the idea of a magnum opus. But that's the literally only thing I could think about with this. I don't know if I ever saw a trailer to this. If I did, I don't remember anything from it. But I genuinely don't know. It's possible, but I have no memory of any. So we're just going to get into this. We're going to hope for the best. Start off this Halloween special not knowing anything about this movie going in. So let's see what we have in store and hope for some good scares or at least some discomfort. Hold up just a sec. Before you click that link down in the description below to get to today's video, I want to remind you of all the awesome content we have both on this channel and the Princess of Gaming channel. Let's check it out. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So I was right. I looked it up, and Murray Bartlett was Frank in The Last of Us, opposite of Nick Offerman's Bill, in one of the best episodes of television ever. I didn't recognize him at all throughout the entire movie. Not enough to where I would know that it was him. But I saw, like, when the credits were going, I saw the name Murray Bartlett, and it somehow clicked with me right then who he was. Because I saw the name in the opening credits, and it's like, it's like I recognized that the name sounded familiar, but it didn't click with me at all. But then in the ending credits, for some reason, it just did. I don't know. So I also looked up in between, as I typically do, how well this movie did, how it was received and all. And apparently this movie didn't do super well. It's got, like, low scores and ratings, and a lot of people are, like, giving it, what, 2 out of 5 stars or whatever. And, like, as always, take it with a grain of salt, but the Rotten Tomatoes score is, like, 30% or whatever. And this baffles me. And this is not the first time this has happened, but this baffles me because I thought this movie was phenomenal. And it seems like, from what I read, people's issues seem to view this movie as, like, confused in its themes and messages, and, like, it just doesn't, like, really, like, understand them in and of itself. And it's like, or maybe you just didn't understand the messages. That's what it seems like people's gripes were. That it seemed too confused in its messages and everything. Which is like, it just doesn't really track to me, because I understood it all pretty well. Obviously, you have the themes of, like, celebrity and the cult kind of following they can have. Just how the media and people in general tend to propel celebrities to this height of almost godhood, to use the terms that were used in this, and how, like, they see these people as incapable of doing anything wrong, and they see them as, like, no matter what happens, no matter what's going on around them, they're incapable of seeing the truth. And that's why Io Edebiri's character, she was so easily able to see through it, because she wasn't like that. And that was a big point. She wasn't that kind of person. And that's why she was able to catch the weird things a lot quicker. And mind you, the others, like Stan and them, were... They noticed things were weird. They absolutely did. They just didn't give a shit. Because to them, this massive, massive celebrity wanting to have them spend this time with them was all they cared about. They didn't care about like how toxic and destructive and fucked up this entire situation was. And in the end, it caused all of them to die, except our main character. And like even when she was escaping though, like the guy who was at the gates, the super fan or whatever, even he was like going on about like, oh, you're hurt, you're bleeding, what's happening? But then he goes like, is um John Malkovich's character, who's I don't know why my mind is blanking on names right now, but is he okay and everything? And it's like, how are things going in there? And it's like his focus and matter of importance shifts from this woman who is standing before him bleeding and, you know, clearly distressed to, oh, how is this celebrity doing? It shows where his importance lies. And we see this throughout the entire thing, which is, again, how, like, all of the other people there, all the other reporters and whatnot, were reacting to it all. They acknowledged that things were weird, but they basically acted like it didn't matter. Because, oh, this famous celebrity who's, you know, making his comeback after 30 years wants to spend time with them. That's pretty neat. These themes are, like, so valid towards the world that we're in currently. And I think his speech near the end, pretty much right at the end, really explains it very well. As humanity was getting started, and a lot of animals handle this in this way too, the idea is like, oh, the strongest is the leader. Although the entire alpha male like ideology has been disproven time and time again within terms of pack animals and stuff, it's not real. Just saying. But the idea of the strong survives, so the strong is the leader. But then eventually, like, as politics, as ideas like that came into play, it became more about like the brain, more about intelligence. And he's talking about like making it to where it's more about the right brain, more about the creative side being in control and leading the world and stuff. But the thing that was like confusing for me about it is that in the real world, at least, that's already happened. That's already a thing. Celebrity is the leadership of the world. This world is run on the idea, the concept of celebrity worship. Why do you think fucking Donald Trump got elected twice? Because he's a celebrity. Because some people saw him as charismatic enough to follow him. And follow his beliefs because of that. And what do all of these Trump supporters act like? They act like fans of a celebrity. They get this merch of him. They buy videos and stuff from him. All this crazy shit that like you would see like a pop star or an actor or someone selling. And that's the kind of stuff they get from him. He is a celebrity. He's not a politician. He's a celebrity. And that's why he's so dangerous to America, but that's an entirely different argument for another day. The point is, people worship these celebrities already in our current day. They treat them like the gods of this world, and this world and its people are run on on these celebrities and their, talent and their overall like image that they project. Whether they're like, no matter whether you find them talented or not, it doesn't even really matter. That's not important. What's important is that enough people follow them to where they just exist in the world. Enough people follow them to where they will come from anywhere. And they will be anyone initially. It creates this idea that anyone can be the next big celebrity and can be the next person to be worshipped like a god, despite being a regular person and coming from a regular life. In a lot of cases, not every case, but... And I feel like that's at least part of the point at the end, with them all going and living these regular lives, being just randomly in public and everything. They're everyday people. We see these kinds of people who worship celebrity, who lose their minds and go crazy for this kind of thing. We see them as other. We see them as something separate from ourselves. In a lot of times, we don't even see them as human because of the way they act and the way they react to things. But that's the wrong way to look at it, because they are human. They're everyday people. They're your barber. They're the person at the ticket booth at the movie theater. They're your bus driver or your pastor or whoever else. These people are just people. And the idea of worshiping these celebrities makes them feel like they could be the celebrities being worshipped eventually. It gives them this sort of self-importance. And that's why they grip onto it so strongly. Why they refuse to let go of it. And it's pretty crazy to think about. But again, like outside of all of the, more literal interpretations within this film, this is stuff that exists in the real world. And it's nuts, it's stupid, but it's real. And it's just, it's such a good commentary on the state of things with that. And on top of it, I just genuinely really love what they did with this film. Even outside of the messages and themes, I thought this was thrilling. It was enticing. It kept my attention at all times. I was invested in what was going down. And, honestly, it even scared me at points. Like with John Malkovich's performance here and there. I was really into this film, and I think it was a fantastic film, honestly. Do I think it's the best film ever? No. But I still think it was fantastic. Honestly, I really feel like they nailed what they were trying to go with. And, I mean, if people didn't understand, then people didn't understand. I can't blame them for that. There's a lot of movies I don't understand. A lot of shows, a lot of games, a lot of things in general. And that's going to happen. I mean, I would be a hypocrite to call out someone else, in a negative light for not understanding something. But I can also say that I don't understand people's complaints about this. I don't get it. It makes no sense to me because I thought this movie was fantastic. Honestly, I'd say this is one of my favorite A24 films so far, out of like what I've seen. I think that this just really hit the nail on the head with its theming, with its tone, with its exciting energy, and it's definitely what I want to see more of from A24 and just studios in general. Like honestly, I'm fine with horror movies that center around like monsters and stuff, but I prefer horror movies that center around like, you know, discussions of humanity and everything that we see from it, everything that we comprehend of humanity. Because there's so much that you just gotta wonder about. Now, one interesting thing that I thought about, um, with the ending, after she drove off and then she brought the police back, then I guess next morning, um, it's obvious the reason why it took so long because it literally told us at the beginning of the film. After they got off the plane, they said it was like a 4.5 hour trip to get to the compound, meaning that it was like 9 hours after she left, at least, like more than likely a little bit more, like around 10 or so hours, almost half a day before she came back with the police. So within all of that time, it makes sense that they would be able to have all of the people leave, have all of the cultists, the levelists, be able to get out of there. I don't know what they did with the guy whose van she had to take. I don't know where that guy went, but they probably killed him. And I'm more wondering especially what happened to the one lady, the one who helped her escape. Because like she obviously didn't like openly help her escape. It was more of an indirect thing. So I don't know. I don't think she would have gotten punished for it, but I don't know. Also, we didn't see what happened to every like levelist that we like focused on and everything. We didn't see what happened to all of them. York was the guy at the ice cream parlor, right? Right? But I don't think it showed what happened to Amber Midthunder's character, unless I just somehow missed her. Um, so I'm kind of curious about the idea of that. Though not that it like fully matters or anything to the movie, but just it crossed my mind. um, but yeah, I really liked this. This was a very strong start to our Halloween special this year. And I'm very glad that I checked this out because honestly, I probably never would have checked this movie out otherwise. Because I had, again, barely even heard of this movie prior to researching A24 horror films. Like, I knew it existed, but that's about it. So I probably would have never checked this out otherwise. But I'm glad I did. So tell me in the comments below, what did you think of this first movie for our Halloween special 2025? What did you think of Opus? Thank you so much for tuning in. We will continue to have these Halloween special reactions every Sunday. So the Saturday movies every week of this month will just be another movie. Obviously, like we had a special one this week as well because we had to get to the Forever Purge, but for the most part, the rest of these are just going to be regular movie reactions each week. So, like I said, let me know your thoughts, and thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.